Good evening. Today is Tuesday, February the 23rd. Today in geometry, we looked at the well-known Pythagorean theorem. I'll go ahead and share my screen and let you see the type of problems that we did with the Pythagorean theorem. So if you remember, the Pythagorean theorem says if right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem. It's been proven in over 100 different ways. With the types of problems we have, if we go and look, you can have a given triangle. If you have a right triangle, then the straightforward type of problem would be to be given two of the sides. If you get to two sides, then it's fairly straightforward. Let's say this is 12 and this is 5. And this would be what we would get is one of the Pythagorean triples, which would be a 5, 12, 13. But we can say, okay, 12 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. Now c is always the side opposite the hypotenuse. So this is c because, or the c is the hypotenuse, it's the side opposite the 90-degree angle. So if we do this, we get 144 plus 25, which is 169. That's 169. And if 169 equals c squared, we take the square root of both sides, we get c equals 13. So we have a 5, 12, 13 right triangle. Now 5, 12, 13 is the second most prevalent Pythagorean triple. The first one being the 3, 4, 5, because 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. You add them together, you get 25, which is the square of 5. Now, so the second type of problem you will run into, and the one most frequently, because it makes you think a little bit. If you have a right triangle here, and you get the hypotenuse in one of the sides, so let's say this is 25 here, and this side here is 7. Now you're finding this side here. Now, the common mistake that's made here is to take and add 7 squared plus 25 squared equals x squared. So if you have 25 squared plus 7 squared equals x squared, then if you realize you're going to get x being bigger than 25 because you're adding 7 squared to 25 squared. And remember that the largest side of a triangle is opposite the right angle. So the 25 here has to be the biggest side. So when you have something like this, instead of having a squared plus b squared equals c squared, you have c squared, which is 25. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase this plus sign here. And I'm going to put in a minus sign because now I see you take c squared minus a squared equals b squared. So that's the thing you have to be very careful with when you're doing a Pythagorean theorem problem with a right triangle. If you have the two sides, it's straightforward. You square this, you add them together, take the square root, and you get this. But if you are looking for one of the sides and you're given the hypotenuse, then it's the hypotenuse squared minus the side squared equals x squared. And of course, this time you would have 625, which is 25 squared, minus 49, which should be about 576. 576. And if you check out on your calculator, you'll find that 576 squared is 24. So you have x equals 24. Now that makes sense once again because the x needs to be less than the hypotenuse because the hypotenuse is the biggest side in a given triangle. So that's what we looked at today pretty much. If the right triangle, then you have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now tomorrow, what we're going to look at is the inverse of this, which says that if you have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then you have a right triangle. So I will get back to you tomorrow and share with you what we did in class tomorrow with the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. So that's it for now. I'll go ahead and stop the share here. Once again, if you need to pause this to look at it, go ahead. I will stop the share. And if you have questions, send me an email. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.